Oh, Joni, you do that so well. Thank you so very much. Give 'em life instead of giving 'em hell. I love rock and roll, and baby, it's sensational. Here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, baby. The love of the universe in your heart. Oh, yeah. HazyRadio.com, we got it on, babies. Yes, we do. Ooh, baby. Speaking of wow and how and what you gonna do now kind of things, man. Oh, my goodness. See a dark alley, man, you know. And somebody, for whatever the reason, is chasing after me. And I know they're a direct threat to my life. This ogre's been taken over by some unloving presences. And he's quite intoxicated on several different substances all at the same time, 'cause he's filthy rich and laying out for drugs and alcohol like it's going out of style. And I don't know what the hell you were doing ever hanging out with such a partying fool as that, eh? Oh! You're kind of attracted to that kind of environment, aren't you? Well, sometimes it don't always pay off in the right sort of way. Well, maybe it will, but you gotta say it's a dark alley down there. It's a parking lot under the apartment house, man. You know, yeah, down there, ground level, they park all the cars and motorcycles, and there's yours. And if you can just get to it on time, that's the fastest way out of there. Otherwise, you may not outrun this guy. There's no place to run, no place to hide, basically. So you gotta ride. That's your choice. Though you're drunk as a skunk, you've had like 2/3 of a fifth of JD or something like that, and you can barely see, let alone breathe and walk and, you know, think a little bit. Wow, and how. But somehow you feel your way in through that dark little alley of love, man. Because you can feel the love in it, see. So you're not as tense as you ought to be, but you're not, don't need to be, because you just get to the bike, get on that sumbitch, get her rocking, get out of here, you know. That's the whole solution. After that, if you don't go 3 blocks, that might be enough. But you know it's better to go 3 miles and get the hell out of the way, just disappear. And that's what you aim to do, dear. Now, there's real danger here. This sumbitch aimed to kill you. Knock your block off with that crowbar, man. And he's crazy enough to do it. You've heard him confess about others now. You don't want to be another statistic in that long list, do you? No. Well, you got to understand, I'll start in Vietnam. You do. I have compassion. I have strength. I can hang out with my own death. It don't bother me none. I just don't want it to happen, you see. So I'm trying to avoid that moment. It's quite some time ago, maybe 20 years, something like that, 18 years ago, something like that. Somewhere back in those days, I don't know, such a haze when you look in time, you know, all kind of blends together. The past is present, and it's just fun to talk about, that's all. It's good experience got us where we are now, didn't it? Well, I got on that sumbitch, and I got that key in the slot, even though I couldn't even see it, man. And I cranked her up. I hit that button. It's boom, up she comes, man. Yamaha Virago. What I call my Yamaha Harley, man. It's like a 1000 or 1100 or something like that. All chromy and pretty with a little gold on it. It was one of those classic years, you know. And so it's probably 20 years old, but what a ride, man. Oh, shit, I love that thing. Well, it's going to be my angel of escape tonight, man. It's got wings and it can fly. Even though I'm drunker than a skunk and I got no business getting on that bike. How am I going to balance the damn thing, let alone ride it? Wow, and how. But you get her fired up, but guess what? You got her parked in front ways, not back ways, you damn fool. So now you got to leg it out of there real quick. And, of course, it's got a low seat, and you give her a good grunt, and you get out of there quick. But still, it takes a second or two. And here comes that sumbitch with his crowbar, man. And you're there facing him, the headlight got him. He's just standing there now. He ran right up to that spot 10 yards ahead of you. And he's just waiting for you with that crowbar. Go ahead and make your run, old man. Let's see what happens to you now. You know, no shit. You know, I'm knowing I'm not done for, though. I'm knowing that something's going to happen. And sure as hell it does. And a car materializes out of nowhere, comes up behind me with his headlights shining bright. The guy drops his crowbar, and I take off into flight. Now, mind you, I'm a real sensitive dude, and alcohol severely affects me, but somehow, I gathered it together. Not only did I scoot on out of there, I scooted so damn far some bitch wouldn't find me till 3 days later or something like that after he cooled off a bit. Got the dementia out of his stupid heart, you know. But I kind of live a life that's like a living work of art, and that's just one of those Steve McQueen moments. I remember him with his motorcycle jumping them fences in that World War II movie. Supposedly he did his own stunts there. I hope for his sake he did. Just for his own self-appeasement. But, you know, wow, it's still pretty damn cool. And that's what I was seeing then. The spirit old Steve McQueen come along and swoop me up on that motorcycle, angel of love that he is, and help me get through Boulder, navigate my way up without drawing anybody's attention to anything, without wobbling a wheel or weaving around the least little bit. Staying nice and smooth in the flow of traffic and everything else, don't you know. And got myself up to Canyon Way, because I knew where to disappear there. I had a friend that had a place kind of hidden away, tucked away back in there. Not too far from the city, but back far enough in the canyon, not everybody even knew it was there, man. Cool place to hide out for a day and let this guy cool off, you see. And you made it. Strange as it may seem. And you park that thing and you drop the kickstand and make sure she's steady there on the gravel, you know, because you ain't got no stick to stick under it. And son of a gun, she holds, you hold, and everything's just all right. The angels of love now can take flight. They helped you out all right. They got you through one more time, one more challenge, one more proof that, baby, life is immortal, and so are you. Each and every one of us. That's how we've gotten through. You can't believe yourself. You can't, convince yourself in any way. But if you're looking back right now like I am, you'll see the flow that brought you right now to today, man. And there's angels all over the place taking care of you. Everywhere. No matter how hard it might be, they're scooting you through somehow, babies. And you made it. It's just like living to tell about it after having driven 3 million miles in semi-trailer trucks across American highways, let's put it that way, Turtle Island. But anyway, 3 million miles, man, you look back, it's like, blink, and it's gone. But somehow you made it, You've even been airborne once in an 18-wheeler, hope and pray it never happens again unless the doggone thing becomes, an anti-gravity machine, a UFO kind of thing. Hell yeah, give me some Tesla, baby. But outside of that, I don't want to be flying on an 18-wheeler ever again. I lived to tell about it. So did everybody else. Nobody wound up dead or injured because of it, shoot. I'm just so blessed, And I've watched the others go down all right and left all over the place. Like I say, inexplainable circumstances sometimes. But babies, and it's, if you look at 3 million miles, you see a lot of that back there, man. And, a rendering of aid and assistance when you're the first one on the scene, shit like that. God, babies. But we make it. And we get to see there's a poetry in there, even in all that chaos and all that living and dying. There's a poetry, man. It's a war zone, or at least it was. Ain't so much anymore. As war's dying away as a concept, thank goodness. Conflict is resolving itself in the reality of this truth, like I'm explaining, just about having lived a life like this and being on the edge all the time like that. God, what a beautiful thing to make you appreciate life. And if yours can be blinked out in a heartbeat, you're willing to give it to save others. You already got that firmly established in your soul presence a long time ago, that if you go out trucking, you ain't going to hurt no one. That's your resolve, your firm resolve. And if I can't do without doing that, I'll get the heck out of it. And just before I retired, I had a close call or two, and that just reminded me of my own pledge, and that was a big, big weight off my back when I retired, because I limited the possibilities of that to almost zero. Driving 3 million miles and haven't made it that far without really a chargeable accident, other than a few backing incidences, I'll explain that some other time, but basically, a clean record for 3 million miles, as far as like accidents. And no one got hurt because of me. No one, myself included, died out there, I had a couple of major collisions like the one I just described a bit. But those were kind of on the inevitable list. Some of the unmissable shit you get into just happens, and the only way to dodge it is negotiate your way out of it, because you're going to hit something and you don't like it, but it's going to happen. So you deal with it as best you can. You try to predict your trajectory, minimize the damage, and above all, save the life. Sacrifice yours. Hell yeah, you don't even think about it that way. You just go off the road if you have to get the hell out of the way so you don't kill anybody, And if you don't have that kind of resolve, you got no business driving an automobile, let alone a truck. And that's just the simple truth here, but that's why there's a lot of tragedy, because a lot of people don't even think that way. It's all about them inside their comfortable little bubble, and they don't know a world outside of that. No one else exists except them and their automobile. And I'm not pointing fingers or saying it's even, kind of lame, of course, but in a way, but in another way, well, we all got to learn somehow, and how else are you going to come back to life but experiencing death in motion? And that's what that is. If you're that numb to your surroundings and that self-absorbed that you can't see beyond the windshield, well, you're in a place in life that is about as dim and as dark as it gets, the ultimate hell. And you're living it like it's nothing. How sweet. I mean, you're just flowing like right through it like, wow, I'm a bumblebee and this is the flower, huh? And you're gathering the sweet honey out of it despite its darker ways and its harsher rays and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Being this numb, well, is performing a service to humanity, because somebody has to be that frickin' lame. Somebody has to be in that dark place, and you're strong enough to endure it, baby, so you did. You numbed yourself out to nothing, and you amplify it with Valium and shit like that every now and then, don't you? You have to. It's the only way you can maintain the presence. It's kind of designed that way. Till you step back into your heart, you're kind of subject to the old rules, and that's part of them. You're going to play it our way. You don't get in with Mary J., you get value. You go down, not up, baby. That's the sardonetry in it, babies, but that's also been the instructor at the head of the class saying, don't you guys catch on. Come on, you dumbasses, get real. Just like we described the other day in that little story about the dude that offed his worst enemy and took down all the hopes of humanity in a heartbeat, yet was only begging to be set free of such ugly tyranny, such emptiness, such a dark space, you see. Just like a little kid acting up, it's repeated itself again and again in its reality, and each time we've overreacted, over-responded to it in some way, and it defeated its own self. And we had to reincarnate and come back in another way and do it again, babies. But we've done that so many times now, we finally caught on to the rhythm and flow of it. And now in this generation, this time, we found music called rock and roll. And its business has been all about releasing us to feel our heart and soul, setting us free of the dumbed down reality, that, little bubble that you seem to vibe in and don't see nothing beyond yourself. It's all about you and no one else. Yet everyone else is in there with you, man. And when you start to realize that, well, the bubble dissolves away, and you realize you really aren't so damn self-centered. You were just overly concerned and feeling too empty about it. But now that you're back in the graces of all your lovers and your family, and man, the numbers go on forever. Because just about everybody you meet is a lover. Everybody. You know them that intimately the moment you lay eyes on them, and you feel them that closely, too. And you appreciate them, despite what they've been, or how big a tragedy you guys created together, etc. It's a different way of looking at it. It's a new way of seeing its reality, its revelation, revealing to yourself a cosmic truth about the nature of the life you're living right now. because you encounter energies like that in this moment. And say, hey, let's keep this thing underway, shall we? We all sail on the same seas. I'll toss about in the same storm. I'll relax on the same sandy beach together like the old crawdads that we are, man. Just so earthy and earthbound. We love that feeling. The gritty sand, man, on our tan little ass. Oh, yes. At last. And pina coladas, you got to numb down just a wee bit so you can loosen up, don't you know? Just ask Jimmy Buffett. He'll tell you, man. I'll have to get him. He hasn't been... Does anybody know if he's alive back there in the green room? Jimmy Buffett, calling Jimmy Buffett, call for... We'll see if he comes out, babies. I don't know. I can't promise you anything because, well, ZZ Top's on top right now, and they're, shit. I ain't gonna undercut them, man. I'm not stupid, man. I'm not from Texas, therefore I'm vulnerable, They could cut me down in a heartbeat, man. So I respect their place on the preeminence of the stage of right now. And given in accordance to that, we'll pretty quick let them play and have something really cool to rock away, okay? Ooh, don't you just love ZZ Top? They always made me think of buzzing bees in Texas and shit like that, But zipping down the highway 80 miles an hour and there's a bee right alongside of you smiling, kind of cruising right there in the waffle around your windshield saying, hey, baby, what's going on, man? Are you the flower I come after? Are you the nectar I want to harvest right now? And I'm looking at that baby bee and I'm saying, well, and how, baby? Magic moments, cosmic moments. In every moment that you're living, if you just pay attention and see what's really going on, man, then maybe you can expand out of that bubble a little bit, that self-contained vehicle you've been living in for so damn long, and take a look at what really surrounds you. What a great family we're just a little minuscule part of, man. A tiny little speck, a particle in the whole aspect of creation, but a damn good one. We're a particle that shines bright, baby, and we got to ride after a whole bunch of trial and error as we saw it. But as we live it now, it's a uniform love in motion, constantly expanding and growing. Through the aspects of its own dark heart to see the light, man. Shit, you got to get it wrong to get it right. How many times do we have to tell you that? That's rock and roll, man. Shit, live in it, man. Flow with it, glow with it. Kick some butt in a loving sort of way today with them little Nerf kicks, wouldn't you say? By the way, if you're going to pillow fight, don't do it meanly today, man. Nerf pillows. And if you don't have any, you can get them over at thecoyoteclub.com. I think there's a Nerf pillow special over there today, 3 for $10 plus the shipping and loving care and handling that we give it. It's quite extravagant. We bless every pillow that leaves here because we know they're Nerf pillows and they'll never hurt anybody. And they're only something soft to lie on and to bat each other with when you're feeling playful, like little squirrels do, throwing nuts at each other and shit like that, man, I once saw a raven and a squirrel playing out in a field there in Boulder, Colorado, of all places, man, out there in the burbs a ways, So there was some open field still left then. There ain't any now, but there was then. Anyhow, long story short, I'm just walking by and I hear the crow and I hear the chattering of a squirrel and I look over and the crow's flying down and the squirrel's jumping up and they're kind of messing around there in the sky as the crow flashes on by, It was a raven, actually, yeah. And then they go, the old raven would do a go-round, come back, do it again. They were doing that continually. For 15, 20 minutes, I sat there and watched them. I sat down on the walkway and watched them. I didn't have to worry too much about being run over. There weren't no real traffic back in there. Kind of one of those places, And wow, what a moment that was. Powerful, man, I started remembering life truly to be the playful thing that it is, started to remember that ravens and squirrels, though they have nothing in common with one another whatsoever, can have a great time together. And boy, that pretty much summated my life up to that moment in time. I could party with anybody, a little lame little squirrel that I was. Maybe I was nuts, but I had a lot of them stored away, man. I'd be okay. Unless the raven flew in and took them away. But with the raven I could play, you damn right, and I have and I will, and I continue to be so. I find ravens entertaining. just like the crow, but the magpie always holds a special place in my heart. The energy of mischief, and of collectibles and treasures that no one else can see the value in. But the little coyote and the magpie, it knows, what real treasure is. So it stores it up in its little nest and nobody knows. It's just sitting up there chuckling and playing the joke on life all the time, man. Because the magpie sees right through it, more clearly even than the coyote or anybody else in creation. That magpie's got it together. For those of you that don't know, magpies are a real colorful black and white bird. About just a little smaller than raven size, about crow size, that lives preeminently out here in the western parts of the U.S. of A. and hangs out along the rivers and streams in the cottonwoods primarily, and make big old nests that go up about 3 yards tall. They look junky as all get out, but boy, they're a scientific work of art, man, And they're just really, they can be, if you can get close to them and live with them without killing them off, because, that is nature, and you don't want to mess with it too significantly, but if you can accomplish and achieve a little connection with them, they'll talk to you in the English or whatever language you happen to be thinking in. They relate to that. And they can form words, and just like a parrot does, only it's a little clearer, a little cleaner. The magpies are not stupid. They may have a pea brain, but boy, that's a pretty magnificent little pea. Just like the little speck of life that we are at the center of everything. Maybe magpie reflects that nature of the flying coyote back to us in black and white, so we can learn to see it in living color, eh? Isn't it amazing how we work in synchronicity with our own reality? When we hear little stories like that, we start to remember it, don't we? See, now the angels of love ain't just little fluffy things that come flying in from the clouds in that invisible sort of way and move energy so you don't get hurt or something. Not just that. It's all the beings and presences that surround you, too. No matter what they be or how self-absorbed they might seem to be in that moment, there's a role being played by angels all around you all the time. You live in an extremely orchestrated reality that's designed to protect you and infect you with the reality of the ever-present love that does just that. Takes you to the edge and back again so dang many times that the edge doesn't exist anymore, and get you through it resiliently, despite your rather clumsy attitude about things. When you look at it in the now, of this moment here, and you're feeling your heart and understanding its way, the flow of life is much different than we ever seemed to see it before. It's a whole different play, a whole different ball game, man. But we got it underway, wouldn't you say? Catching on to the flow, being in the river of love, understanding what that means. It's not just a romance with one person, outside yourself, It's a romance first and foremost with the life inside yourself. And the carcass that represents it right now, whatever form it may be and how many flaws you may see in it. If you don't like it, you love it, it changes. So however you want to be expressed, you can reformat yourself anytime you feel like it, man. Listen to your heart, let it flow. See, it's from that your presence comes into being, but you've seen it through a warped lens. So the energy of creation been fractured a bit. You've only been living in one aspect of it. The other 9/10 of yourself lives around you in the energy of love that supports you and gets you through it. We designed it that way. So the little 10%er can live some kind of life, get the organic down, and root it in nice and tight for us. Then we could bring back in the other 9/10 of ourselves and be reunited with our reality. Seemed like a pretty simple task, didn't it? Well, we're getting there at last, baby. And Grandpa's here to make sure you understand what's happening, that's all. Rock you into your own reality, the truth that you're creating right now. Well, of course, in conjunction with all these other hearts, mine included. We're all together in this, man. Geez, it's each one of us. You want to look for an end to the matrix? and unwind into the truth which is really divine, the presence of creation in each one of us. Step right up here, man, and get a little more dose of the Coyote medicine on the Coyote Medicine Show on the Hazy Radio Network. And baby, you'll be getting it clear before you know what happened, won't you, dear? Yeah, we do it each and every day, Monday through Friday. We go there all the dang time, through rocking and rolling, and even a little country and folk every now and then. A whole lot of Coyote humorous medicine, don't you know? 'Cause it goes down so smoothly when you're chuckling, man, you know. When the beam goes on inside and a little light comes on, and just like in the cartoons, bing, oh, I got that one down, man. See, I'm like, you know, I'm like the lighter that lights the fuse on your firecracker of love, man, you know. And then I stand back, man. I don't want to burn my fingers or get my face blowed off. I just stand back and watch you go off, man. And keep the rock and roll playing so it all seems to happen naturally, you know. There's a nuclear explosion going on inside of you. Just because I lit the fuse a while ago when you weren't looking, man. I had to do it sneakily because that's my fuse. Don't you touch it. So I just had to light it when I could, you know. It's a Coyote thing. I know you understand. You don't hold it against me. Kaboomy, baby. Oh, it's good to see you coming back to life again. Light up, babies. Ooh, let's just light up with love, man. Little talk with Mary J to help you along the way. Soften up the life. Expand your reality. Little slug on the old coffee cup to remind you that the earth is all about love. That's what the coffee bean represents, mother love. And that's why we like to reconnect with it. And that's why some people fear it. Because they don't feel their love at all. They do now, and how, babies. Ooh, the beam of light and love coming from you is enough to undo them all, don't you see? Undo the unusual disharmony and realize the ecstatic, the ecstasy of reality. The love and creation that we live in. Wow! Rockin' Tribe here on a Thursday, man. Oh, goodness gracious, a thrilling tribal Thursday, a uniting of the cosmic heart in the conscious presence of love. And the rock and roll tunage that brings it on in from above and below and puts it into a rock and roll medicine show on the Everclear Hazy Radio Network, don't you know, dear? Ooh, Grandpa Coyote helping you get it clear, along with a whole bunch of real grooving angels, man. I'll tell you what, you know, whew. I love my angelic family, man. They are so present and so hot. I mean, you know, we thought the centerfolds and Playboy were something back in the day. Angels of love, every one of them, in its most divine form of expression. Innocently so, of course. But, oh my God. As we start to awaken to the presence of the real vibe and the real tribe that we're vibing into, and the centering love that creates that family, that starts to recognize it now, yeah, it comes through glimmers and shadows of the past, but it's a reality right now. It's a realization, an understanding of how connected we've always been. This family of cosmic hearts that have bounced around this reality like loose pinballs in a love machine. That being this way, being that way, but everything bings you, man. You bounce off it all. And you just keep rolling around and gaining momentum and giving points and getting extra scores and this and that and building the energy of love until that doggone pinball machine just frickin' explodes and rewards you with the rainbow treasure of everything there could ever be, because you can't get any more points than that. You finally overdid it. You see? Now I think you're ready for some ZZ Top, taking us over the top in that Coyote sort of way. Hey, aren't you glad you came out with Grandpa here in the sandbox of love to play? Ooh, we built some tunnels of love now. Ooh, you want to hide over there?